Okay, so here I have 24 units completed. In the first row, I laid out 4 lilies in a row, and I alternated the color of the bases. So this one has a blue base, this one has a green base, this one blue, green, and so on and so forth. In the second row, I have 8 lilies laid out, third row also 8, and the fourth row 4 once again. So there is a significance to the way that I laid out these lilies because we're going to make 2 rings of 8 and 2 rings of 4. And to do that, you're going to need a thread and needle. So first I'm going to show you how to make a ring of 4, and then the ring of 8 is basically the same thing except you add additional units. Okay, so this is how you would make a ring of 4. You're going to take your needle and thread, and you're going to pierce it through the center of one of the units. So in this case, I'm starting off with the blue base and green top. So just pierce it through. Great, and make sure you don't go too much towards the tip because then it will tear. Like that. Then you're going to put in your next unit in the same manner. Okay, so now I have 4 lilies strung together like this, and now what you want to do is you want to tie a knot. So now working with paper is a little tricky, so take your time with it. Grab the 2 ends. And then just tie a regular knot. And I would double knot it too. Now when you tie this knot, make sure that the units are not so tight that there's no leeway for them to flex, but not too loose so that they're spread out all over the place. Okay, and then trim off the excess, and you have a ring of 4 completed, like that. Okay, so again, you're going to make 2 rings of 4, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Blue and green. Okay, so this is the second ring of 4. Now I'm going to work on the ring of 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right here. Just my needle and thread. Now, if this video is too slow for you, I have another video that speeds up the assembly process. So if you want to go check that out, I'm going to link it to the top right-hand corner of this video and also in the description below. Five, 6, 7, and oops, 8. Okay, so to close the 8 ring unit, it's the same as closing the 4 one, except it's a little harder because there are so many pieces floating around. Right. I'm going to trim this first before tying the knot. Again, because you're dealing with paper, you want to treat it very delicately. The last thing you want is for it to tear and then have to start all over again. Okay. Again, when we tie this knot, we want to make sure that it's not too tight so that the units are right on top of one another, but we want to make sure that it's not too loose so that it flops all over the place. Because once it flops all over the place, you lose control of the Kusudama. And it's very loose. So, okay. Tie the knot. This one's not cooperating. Okay, finally. Okay, trim off the excess. And now we have a ring of 8, which looks very messy at first glance. Okay, just like that. I'm gonna put that right here. And then finally, I'm going to do my last ring of 8. Again, all I'm doing is alternating the colors. Grab a thread, needle. I don't even know if this is long enough, so I'm going to grab another one. There you go. This one. And basically just repeat the same thing. Hopefully I'll have an easier time tying the knot this time. I hate how they bunch up together. Alright, just 2 more. Okay, now I'm going to tie this knot. Maneuver some of the pieces so that they're closer together. Like this, and tie the second knot to keep it in place. Alright, trim off the excess. And now you have, okay, so now you have 2 rings of 8 and 2 rings of 4. So I'm going to zoom in and show you guys how that looks. Ta-da! Like that. Now, the next step you're going to do is you're going to take your embroidery thread. So I have, again, 2 strings of embroidery thread here. One on the right, one on the left. You're going to stack them from end to end. Okay, so here's the left end, 2 of them together. Right end, 2 of them together. And then you're going to fold it in half like this. And at this center point here, we're going to tie a knot. Alright, so now you should have a knot at the center right here, and then 2 threads coming out from each side. So here's 2 on the left and 2 on the right. Like that. Okay, so I'm going to get these out of the way for a second and lay it on the table so that it forms the letter T or a cross. So here you go. Like this and like this. So now you have something that looks like that. And now these next few steps you want to be very, very careful and very, very meticulous. So I'm going to go very slowly. I'm going to take 1 ring of 4 and put it in the bottom. Alright? And when I put it in the on top of these threads. And when I put it on top, I want to make sure it's at the center. So I'm going to pull this thread up in between these two lilies over here, like that. And then just let this thread flop down. Then I'm going to pull this thread in between these two lilies over here. So essentially you want to make sure that there's one lily in each quadrant. Okay. And then let it flop back down. Pull this string in between these two lilies over here. Okay, and let it flop back down. And finally, these two. Okay, and let it flop back down. Now I have a thread dangling here. I'm just gonna trim it off. Like that. Okay. So now it's perfectly at the center. And next we're going to take a 8-ring lily and place it directly at the center of this 4-ring lily. And what that means is there's going to be 2 lilies on each quadrant. And since I'm alternating colors, I want the blue to go on top of the green and the green to go on top of the blue. So I'm going to put it at the center like so. Alright? And now I'm going to pull these strings through every 2 lilies. So, right? So I'm going to pull it through here first. And now this part is a little tricky because you have all the petals in the way. So you're going to maneuver the petals a little bit to pull the string through. See? Now the string is through. And now, so there's 1 lily. 2 lilies, and then you're going to pull the string through the next 2 lilies. So again, every 2 lilies you're going to pull a string through. So I've already done 2. The next one is going to be right after these 2 lilies, so pull it up and through. And then over here, pull it through the next 2 as well. So 1, 2, and pull it through. Now I'm sorry if you guys are having a hard time seeing what's going on. It's very difficult to capture this step on camera. But once you have all the strings through, you just want to give it a little push. So push it down so that it looks like this. See how cool that looks? Wow. It looks like this from the bottom, and the top should look like this. So just pull it through, push it through as much as you can, and then we're going to flop these threads back down. Now I want to add that it's also very hard sometimes for me to talk and describe these instructions at the same time, so I apologize in advance if I'm stuttering or, you know, I say something stupid. Anyway, so here is the next ring of 8, and we're going to repeat the same thing. So we're going to stack a blue lily on top of a green lily, and we want to make sure that it's exactly at the center point. So just kind of throw it down there like that. Alright. And then you're going to pull the string through every 2 lilies. So pull it through here. See how the string is right here? And now the next 2 lilies is 1, 2. You're going to maneuver through this chaos of petals. So let me maneuver through that chaos of petals and pull it through. Alright. And now turn it around and pull it through the next 2. Okay, like this. And finally, skip 2 and pull the string up. And while you're doing this, feel free to fix some of the petals that might have gotten lost. So just kind of pluck them out, stick your finger in there and pry them out. Okay. And now you have this. So the 4 strings should be at the top, and the side should look like this. So just keep pushing down, and I promise you in the end all of this work will be well worth it because it's going to look amazing. Alright, so from the side it now looks like this. Next we are going to put these 4 rings, this 4 ring at the center, and we're going to do exactly what we have been doing, stacking the green on top of the blue and making sure that there's 1 lily that goes through each quadrant. So okay, pull that string up and through. Now we're going to kind of shove, but not too hard. We're going to shove these last couple of lilies down a little bit. And then you're going to take these strings over here, the embroidery thread, and find 2 that are in the opposite direction. So that would be, it's kind of hard to see. So that would be, okay, that would be this one and this one. So these 2 are directly opposite of one another. So I'm going to take this and tie a knot, get this petal out of the way, and then tie it as tight as I can without breaking it. And then I'm going to take the other opposite 2 ends and tie a tight knot too. Like that. And then I'm going to reinforce the other 2 that I did earlier. So now I have 4 threads that are directly at the center. See that? The 4 threads at the center, like that. And then I'm just going to push down, so flatten it out so that it's shaped more like a cube or a ball. Pull up. And just continue pulling and pulling and pulling without breaking until it's shaped like a ball. And once it's shaped to your desire, then all you have to do is tie a knot. You can just make it a little tighter. But once it's shaped the way that you want it to be shaped, so say I want it to be shaped like this, then all you have to do is tie a knot at the very center. So of these 4, just tie a knot, get your finger in the middle. Nobody said this was easy. So finger in the middle, and then once you have that knot, you can either keep this thread up here or trim the edges, and then you can fluff it up a little bit more so that each of the lilies has its own personal space. Alright? And again, I apologize if these instructions are all over the place, but again, this was really hard for me to make a tutorial of. But here it is, so thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and also check out my other free tutorials at the end of this video as well. Happy folding! Isn't this cool?